Strategic silence is not emptiness. It is the heaviest weapon in the room. The moment you start explaining yourself, you lose. Look at the loudest person at the table. They aren't leading. They are pleading for validation. Noise is just insecurity screaming to be heard. True power doesn't need to convince anyone. Shut up and watch them crumble.
True power doesn't need to convince. Consider the architecture of negotiation. The moment you overshare, you hand the opposition a manual on how to dismantle you. This is the vulnerability of the open book. You think you are building rapport, but you are actually supplying ammunition. Every unnecessary word reveals what you value and what you fear. Compulsive talking is not charisma. It is a tactical error that signals you can be manipulated. This brings us to defensive silence. This isn't about being shy. It is a security protocol. You withhold data to maintain leverage. While they scramble to fill the uncomfortable void with nervous chatter, they reveal their hand, while yours remains a mystery. Stop giving them the blueprint to your own destruction. Keep the book closed.
Every word is a crack in your armor, a signal flare lighting up your insecurities. Now, we must descend into the murky waters of why. Why does the cessation of sound trigger such profound discomfort? Psychologists refer to this as the horror vacui, the fear of empty space. In the absence of verbal feedback, your brain projects its worst fears onto the blank screen of the other person's face. You interpret silence as disapproval, as judgment, or worse, as a loss of connection. This reaction is physiological. Your amygdala perceives the social vacuum as a threat to your standing. Cortisol floods your system. You are socially conditioned from childhood to answer immediately, to keep the ball rolling. But in the realm of power, this conditioning is a leash. Consider the master manipulator's favorite tool, the pregnant pause. It is an artificial pressure cooker designed to exploit this very reflex. Picture the scene. You deliver your final number. The CEO across the mahogany table leans back. He doesn't nod. He doesn't frown. He just breathes, locking eyes with you. The silence hangs heavy, thick enough to choke on. 5 seconds feel like 5 minutes. In that agonizing stretch, your internal monologue screams at you to fix it. Did I go too high? Should I explain the methodology? So you break, you speak. But of course, that is negotiable. You stammer. In that instant, you have lost. You negotiated against yourself because you couldn't withstand the weight of the void. You treated silence as an enemy to be vanquished with words rather than a companion to be embraced. When you rush to fill the silence, you are essentially apologizing for your existence. You are saying, "I am uncomfortable. Please accept my noise as an offering." The strategic operator sees this offering and rejects it, knowing that if they wait just a second longer, you will offer something far more valuable: the truth.
In the absence of verbal noise, your reptile brain assumes a threat. It screams at you to speak, to appease, to fill the void with nervous chatter. This is the biological trap. To escape it, you need a hard reset. Enter the 3-second rule. When asked a tough question, do not answer, not immediately. lock eyes. Inhale. Count internally. 1, 2, 3. In those brief moments, the adrenaline spikes, then settles. You stop being a reactive victim and become a calculated strategist. Your silence forces them to wait, making your eventual words way heavier. It signals absolute confidence. Kill the instinct to blurt. Master the pause, and you master the room.
Once you master that initial pause, you unlock the gateway to the mirror effect. Imagine you are in a high-stakes negotiation. The person across the table is aggressive. They are shouting, demanding, waving their hands. They expect resistance. They expect you to fight back or crumble. Instead, you offer them nothing. You become a smooth, impenetrable surface. This is not about ignoring them. It is about reflecting their chaos back onto themselves without absorbing a single drop of it. In psychology, we often see this in toxic dynamics. It is similar to the gray rock method. When an emotionally volatile person realizes they cannot provoke a reaction, their machinery starts to glitch. By remaining absolute still, face neutral, eyes locked, mouth shut, you force them to act out their drama in a vacuum. There is no audience. There is no fuel. Watch what happens next. It is terrifyingly predictable. The aggressor will amplify their volume initially, desperate for a hook. But when you remain a blank canvas, they inevitably begin to over-explain. They start negotiating against themselves. They reveal their insecurities, their hidden leverage, and their desperation. Their energy, having nowhere to land, bounces off your silence and hits them in the chest. You haven't said a word, yet you are screaming control. You have become the mirror, and they are terrified of their own reflection. Consider the physics of a storm. It requires atmospheric pressure differences to rage. If you equalize the pressure by removing your emotional output, the storm collapses. This is the essence of becoming a blank canvas. It is an act of aggressive neutrality. When they throw an insult, let it hang in the dead air. Do not defend. Do not counter. Just look at them. The silence stretches. The tension in the room thickens, becoming almost physical. Now the burden of the awkwardness shifts entirely to them. They feel the weight of their own unprofessionalism. They start to stammer. Obviously we can work something out. They might say, filling the silence you created. They are backtracking. You are winning, and you haven't even moved a pawn. This is the power of the mirror effect, letting their own momentum trip them up while you stand unmoving, unreadable, and undeniable.
But noise isn't the only weapon. You must beware the quiet assassin, the intentional error. This is known as the probe. A rival leans in, looks you in the eye, and states a fact about your project that is demonstrably wrong. I heard your Q3 numbers were down by 10%. Your brain screams to correct them immediately. No, they were up by 5. Stop. That impulse is your enemy. They aren't misinformed. They are fishing for data you haven't released yet. They are hacking your ego to extract the truth. If you correct the error, you reveal your hand. Spot the bait. Do not bite. Smile. Maintain the silence, and let their incorrect statement hang in the air like a dead weight.
Correct them. to snap back and say, "No, you are mistaken. Our figures are actually stable." Stop. Kill that impulse immediately. That urge to be right, to defend your ego, is exactly what they are banking on. This is the crucible of information asymmetry. By correcting their intentional error, you do two fatal things. You confirm you possess the sensitive data, and you voluntarily hand over the truth they were desperate to fish out. You have just traded a diamond for a mere stone, all because you couldn't tolerate a moment of inaccuracy. Think about the physics of this interaction. He who speaks is leaking. He who listens is gathering. Every word that leaves your mouth reduces your strategic reserve. When you withhold the correction, when you simply look at them, perhaps with a slight unbothered tilt of the head, you maintain the fog of war. They threw a stone into the dark, expecting to hear it hit something. If you remain silent, the stone falls into an abyss. They don't know where you stand. Did they guess too high? Too low? Or is your position so secure that their accusation is laughable to you? Now, watch the power dynamic shift in real time. Because you didn't bite the hook, the silence forces them to speak again. They have to calibrate. I mean, that's what the industry rumors suggest. They might stammer, breaking eye contact. Suddenly, they are qualifying themselves. They are revealing their sources and their insecurities. You have moved from being the accused to being the judge. This is the ultimate power of the observer. The participant is exhausted, dancing, performing, trying to elicit a response. The observer sits back, conserving energy, cataloging every micro-expression and stumble. You are not just hiding the truth. You are letting them create a terrifying version of it in their own minds. In the absence of data, the human mind assumes the worst or the most powerful scenario. Let the silence be heavy. Let it press against their chest while you breathe easy. You win by simply watching them lose.
You validate their intelligence. You hand over your baseline. Instead, pivot immediately. Deploy calculated ambiguity. Look them dead in the eye. Pause for exactly 3 seconds and offer a non-answer. Is that so? Or simply interesting? Then stop talking. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Watch the dynamic shift. Their brain, expecting a defensive fight, stumbles into the void you created. Panic sets in. To fill that awkward silence, they will inevitably over-explain. Well, that's just what I heard from Dave. Or, maybe the data's preliminary. In one stroke, you went from defendant to prosecutor. You didn't correct the lie, you forced them to dismantle it themselves. Don't clarify, confuse.
Now, you must escalate to visual silence. This is the art of the heavy stare. When the words stop, the eyes must lock. Most people instinctively look away to relieve social tension, but you must do the exact opposite. Anchor your gaze on the bridge of their nose and do not blink first. This stillness creates a primal physiological spike in their cortisol levels. The manipulator expects you to retreat into submission or fill the void with nervous chatter. By offering them nothing but an unreadable, piercing stare, you trigger their fight or flight response. They begin to question their own standing, their own script. In the complete absence of your voice, your eyes become the loudest thing in the room, turning their pressure tactic back onto them with crushing weight.
Signals a refusal to participate in their chaos. Watch closely now. The atmosphere in the room shifts. It becomes thin, heavy, almost pressurized. This is the vacuum of power. The aggressor, who relies on noise and reaction to fuel their dominance, suddenly finds themselves suffocating. Their internal monologue shifts from arrogance to panic.
Why aren't they defending themselves? What do they know that I don't? You will witness the physical tell, a nervous twitch at the corner of the mouth, a desperate clearing of the throat, a defensive shift in posture. They will begin to speak faster, filling the void with nervous laughter, backtracking, or over-explaining. This is crucial. Do not rescue them. Let them drown in the quiet you have constructed. This is the climax of the interaction. The exact second they break eye contact, look down, or stutter, the hierarchy has flipped. You have won without firing a single shot. You have screamed authority through absolute stillness. By refusing to pick up the rope of conflict they threw at you, you have forced them to tangle themselves in it. In this vacuum, you are the gravity. Everyone else is merely orbiting your composure. The room is no longer theirs. It is yours.
Their internal rhythm falters, leaving them exposed. Now, let's solidify the framework. We have covered 3 absolute pillars of this methodology. First, the pause. Never answer immediately. Let 3 seconds burn the oxygen in the room. Force them to doubt their own question. Second, the mirror. Reflect their chaotic energy back without adding your own. If they lean in, you lean back. If they raise their voice, you lower yours. Third, the withhold. Information is your currency. Stop spending it like loose change. Give them the headline, never the story. Keep your cards face down. This is your checklist for dominance. Pause, mirror, withhold. Memorize this sequence. You are no longer a participant in the noise. You are the architect of the silence. Reflect their chaos back, stripped of emotion, until they crumble. Third, the exit. Leave while the tension is highest. Make them chase your validation. Remember, true power isn't noise. It is withheld information. Don't explain. Don't justify. Simply vanish. The room belongs to you, precisely because you are no longer in it.